Hey Insiders, I hope you're all doing well, having a lovely Tuesday morning as I'm doing this video. Of course, this is the day they're going to be arraigning President Trump. This is the day that we really are crossing Rubicon in our nation's history, where we join now banana republics in arresting our former leaders. It's horrifying, and you want to definitely check out the video I did this morning, Victor Davis Hanson's assessment of it. It's very, very good. I don't think he answers precisely, I don't think he answers the reason for his diagnosis very well. It's a very good diagnosis. His diagnosis, bottom line, is that what the Democrats are doing right now is they know that were the Republicans to reciprocate in kind, tit for tat, our republic would be destroyed. It would fall apart. The rule of law would collapse, and we would just be Hatfields and McCoys at that point. Like I said, we've moved from a politics of resentment to a politics of retribution. It's another way of thinking about it. And I get into why I think they're doing this. And so you definitely want to check out that video. Also, if you didn't see the interview last night with Dave Munson, a member of the Patriots for America, the border militia, it is riveting. It's an hour longer. He brings pictures, video from the border. I mean, you're going to be given a front seat of what's happening on the border right now. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to make you sad at one level, but it's also going to it's going to bring tears to your eyes, knowing how grateful you're going to be for men like David, who are on the front lines as first responders in these situations. The militia, the militia movement, particularly the Christian militia movement, is absolutely astonishing right now. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and it's gathering together some of the most amazing patriots on the planet. So it's going to really encourage you. Speaking of encouragement, what I wanted to do is I did want to share with you something, one of the most inspiring things that I've ever come across. And I offer this today as we're entering into a very dark period. I do talk about the Stockdale principle in this video this morning. And if you don't recall, the Stockdale principle, named after Admiral James Stockdale, the highest decorated naval officer to be a POW in Vietnam, I talked about his principle for surviving through darkness, and it's known as the Stockdale paradox. But basically, it brings two things together. One, you have two otherwise mutually exclusive things together. One, you have to be absolutely sober and realistic about the threats that you're facing, no matter how dire. And you can never lose hope that you're going to win, that you're going to prevail. You've got to bring those two together. You've got to bring, as it were, the pessimists and the optimists together. And most geniuses are that way. They bring the mathematical and the artistic together. They're bringing things that you generally think of as belonging in different camps. And we're going to need that. We're going to need it because this is it. I think the left is all in. There's no going back now. They're going to try to take out Trump. The Republican Party just seems so worthless and feckless. And we're going to see, I think, patriots rise up like never before. But there's going to be so much pushback, it's going to seem overwhelming.
But with all of this insanity going on all around us, feeling somewhat delirious is to be expected. But seriously speaking, gang, do you know if you're at risk of having a stroke? I mean, if you're over the age of 40, it's important to take proactive steps to maintain your health and detect potential issues early on. And that's where Lifeline screening comes in. With their non-invasive and painless screenings, they can help identify your risk of stroke, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses. Plus, with over 14,000 screening events each year, it's never been more convenient to prioritize your health. Don't wait until it's too late to take action. By scheduling a Lifeline screening today, you'll receive either peace of mind or early detection. Either way, you come out on top. Take control of your health by clicking on that link below and scheduling your screening today.
One of the scenes that I think in movies that I think embodies this Stockdale principle is from the second movie of the Lord of the Rings series. And I say the movie, I've read the books, the J.R.R. Tolkien books, but there's a scene that Peter Jackson created for the end of the second in the trilogy, the Two Towers, that's not in the book. And it's brilliant. It's magnificent. And perhaps you've seen it, maybe watch it again. Maybe, I'm sure they probably have the scene. Well, I know they have the scene on YouTube. But the scene I'm thinking of is, it's towards the end of the Two Towers, when Frodo, when he's traveling through Middle Earth to get rid of the evil ring, to destroy it in the fires of Mordor. And he faces just countless life-threatening adversities along the way. He looks at his companion, Samwise Gamgee, and he just begins to despair. He just falls apart. He just says, I just can't do this, Sam. I just can't. He admits it. He comes out and he says the quiet part out loud. I can't do this anymore. I just can't. And I know, I love the scene because I know so many of us feel that way. So many of us get to this point where the evil and the darkness that we're facing seems so overwhelming. There's just no, there's no logical recourse for just continuing to challenge it. It's just enough, you know, it's over. I just can't do this anymore. And Samwise Gamgee, God bless him, my favorite character, Samwise Gamgee came out and said this. I know, Mr. Frodo, I know it's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. But we are. But it's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it is only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it will shine out all the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you. It meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going because they were holding on to something. And then Frodo asks him, what are we holding on to, Sam? Sam leans forward and looks into his eyes and says that there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. Glorious. There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. You can't ultimately destroy the good. You can't. It can look like you did for a long time. Just ask Russia. I think that's one of the reasons why globalists hate Russia so much. Because they survived, their Russian Orthodox traditions survived 70 years of communist repression, of darkness. But they see it today as a perfect Sabbath rest, a literal Saturday rest, Shabbat rest, of like Christ in the tomb. And now there is resurrection. There is the blossoming, the renewal of Orthodox Christianity in Russia. We cannot forget that Eastern Europe experienced 40 years of darkness. Russians experienced 70 years of darkness. And that darkness now is receding. That darkness has imploded. And the light is shining all the clearer. Viktor Orban, the Law and Justice Party in Poland, Bulgaria just had their elections the other day with the Nationalist Populist won. So, and of course, Russia. I know Russia gets a bad name today, but I think for rather nefarious reasons. So the good news is we're going to break through this. We're going to get through this. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough. There's going to be a lot of defeats along the way, but we're going to break through this. When the darkness dissipates, the light shines all the brighter. So hold on to that as we get through this. It may be Friday, but Sunday's coming. God bless.